October Sunday here in Pittsburgh, the Steelers and the Jaguars. Weather forecast, temperature currently at 60 degrees. There is a chance of rain throughout the afternoon here in Pittsburgh. Mike Tomlin, the head coach of the Steelers, and they have been great at home under Tomlin. 26-8 record here at Heinz Field since Tomlin took over as the head man now in his 5th year. And Jack Del Rio, he told us, I'm not going to change who I am. I believe in how I do things. I've been around this game a long time. Jaguars are riding a 4-game losing streak, 1-7 in their last 8 games, going back to last year. Jacksonville has won the toss. They will receive. D.G. Kareem, the return man. Sean Sweezum will get it started. And we're underway from Heinz Field in Pittsburgh. And Kareem will take a knee. Jacksonville will have it at the 20-yard line to open things up. Blaine Gabbert celebrated his 22nd birthday yesterday, still looking for his first win as a starting quarterback.
And he told us yesterday he expects to see some unscouted looks from the Steeler defense today. But he says he can't be too concerned with where Troy Polamalu's lined up. He has to keep the big picture of the Steeler defense in mind. And, you know, and as a fan growing up in St. Louis, he loved the great quarterback Kurt Warner. He knows getting the ball out of his hand quickly today is paramount.
Did not throw an interception last week in that loss to Cincinnati. That's the first time that he didn't throw a pick as a starter. Handoff. Maurice Jones-Drew is drilled after he picks up a yard. Chris Hoke with the smack to start things off. Let's take a look at this starting offense for Jacksonville. And inexperience on the left side. Cameron Bradfield is getting the start. The rookie out of Grand Valley will protect the blind side of Blaine Gabbert. Backs and receivers. It was a career day for Jason Hill last week. Hill, the former San Francisco 49er, 5 catches, 118 yards, and a touchdown. 2nd and 9, double tight end set with Lewis and Potter for Jacksonville. Gabbert with a deep drop. Good protection. He fires over the middle, and it's complete to Mike Thomas. 11-yard gain and a first down for Jacksonville. There's that big arm of Gabbert. Defensively for the Pittsburgh Steelers, they come in ranked number 2 overall in team defense. No Casey Hampton. Chris Hope gets the start for the 2nd consecutive week. Linebackers, James Harrison out once again, so Timmons shifting over from the inside to the outside. And in the secondary, William Gay continues to hold on to the starting spot at corner. Give is to Jones-Drew, and he picks up 3 yards, taking it up the middle. Lamar Woodley, the first man there. Woodley had big numbers last week, as Woodley had an interception and a sack and a half in that victory over Tennessee.
Big challenge today for the Jaguars, especially recently with the offensive line shifting around, with Evan Britton's back tightened up in pregame warmup, so he's ruled out. Eugene Moore may play today at left tackle, but right now, as you said, Ian, a couple of rookies, Bradford and Rackley on the left side.
2nd and 7 here for the Jaguars. Stack it up on that left side. And Gabbert, little floater. Over the head of Maurice Jones-Drew, incomplete. The question that Jones-Drew had, was it a lateral? And a moment there where you thought it could have been a live ball. Forward pass?
Yeah, right parallel to the line of scrimmage. Did not go backwards, but heads up by Jones-Drew anyway, getting on it. Any question in your mind, make sure you get on that ball.
We talked to Maurice Jones-Drew. He said, look, anytime you play against one of the top defensive teams in the league, you've got to love the challenge. At least he does. That's what you sign up for, to play against the best. Steelers have not been the best, though, against the run this year. Arian Foster burned them, so did Ray Rice. Gabbert fires, sideline route, and he's got Jared Dillard. Good catch there, and very close to first down yardage.
That's going to be just about enough for that first down, as Dillard knew exactly what he needed. But I'm so impressed by Gabbert on these first 2 throws. The first one over the middle, he threw a fastball that got in there, and that one to Dillard right in front of the tight coverage on the outside.
And it will be enough for a first down. Gabbert said, look, we're a few plays away from being 3-2, not 1-4. Carolina, Cincinnati, little things, and they've got to start executing, especially late in games. Bootleg, Gabbert, boy, he looks sharp in the early going and makes the connection with Jason Hill for a first down into Pittsburgh territory. That covers 11 yards.
And he's showing his mobility with this type of rollout. After the play fake, watch the action go this way. Gabbert comes out, and he's got a clear throwing lane. And now the question is this a completed pass? Was Hill inbounds? Did he get that right foot down? Mike Tomlin, looking at the big board, has decided to not challenge this one.
Well, you might have heard the fans' reaction in the background after they saw the replay on the jumbo screen. Handoff. It's Jones. Drew keeps those legs churning, then gets sent backwards by the combination of Woodley and Farrier, but it's a 5-yard gain with forward progress. And Jacksonville mixing it up now on the first possession of the day.
Offensive coordinator Dirk Cutter doing a good job of keeping the Steelers off balance, pounding Maurice Jones-Drew in the middle. Good balance, though. 3 runs, 4 passes now, and Gabbert has been perfect on all 4.
Dirk Cutter, Dick LeBeau, offensive coordinator for Jacksonville, defensive coordinator, one of the best ever for Pittsburgh. 2nd and 5. Gabbert, Lamar Woodley wraps him up. His 4th sack of the season. It's a loss of 7 on the play.
Well, Brock Bolin is the blocking back in the lineup right here. Watch him come over. He's a little bit late. Woodley showing good speed to get to the quarterback. That's asking a lot for Brock Bolin to come all the way from his left halfback spot to block the linebacker coming from the right side.
Dime package now for Pittsburgh. 3rd and 12 for Jacksonville. First drive of the day. This is the 9th play for the Jaguars. On a quick hitter, Thomas the catch, and Thomas is buried. A gain of 3. The Steelers were all over it. Ryan Mundy leading that defensive charge, and the Jaguars forced to punt. Pittsburgh has had problems on opening possessions for the opponent. They've allowed 3 opening drive scores this season. They allowed 3 all of last season. That's 19 games combined, regular season and postseason.
And they got a break there from the Jaguar offensive selection for that play at 3rd and 12, throwing a little swing pass out to the wide receiver's not going to get it.
You mentioned special teams earlier. A new punter now for Jacksonville. Nick Harris signed this week after Matt Turk was let go. Punting to Antonio Brown, and Brown brought down inside the 15, a 37-yard punt. Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers offense on the field when we come back. Offensive meeting there with Dirk Cutter, Gabbert, and McCown. After Jacksonville comes up empty on its first drive of the day. Pittsburgh opens up with a 1st and 10 at the 13-yard line. Handoff, Rich Mendenhall kept those legs moving for a 4-yard pickup. Running off tackle Pusluzny there defensively. Ben Roethlisberger, AFC Offensive Player of the Week after his performance last week.
And offensive coordinator Bruce Arians told me Ben's had too much experience playing with a bad foot, but we know he's always going to play. We always know he's going to give it his best. He does not want to let his teammates down.
He told us really the only time it hurts is when he runs, when he bends his toes, but that's usually pretty important in the game of football. 2nd and 6. And Roethlisberger standing tall in the pocket. He gets Heath Miller with a reception. Miller had a touchdown catch last week in the 38-17 win over Tennessee. Starting offensive line, 6th game, 6th different combination. Max Starks back in a Steelers uniform and starting for the 2nd consecutive week at left tackle. Backs and receivers, Mendenhall forced to sit last week's game out with a hamstring injury. His numbers have not been as good as the last couple of years. They're trying to get him going, and obviously they'll keep an eye on how he holds up physically here over the course of the day. 3rd and 1 for Pittsburgh. Isaac Redmond getting the carry. Redmond did a nice job last week. He's got a 1st down. Redmond 15 carries, 49 yards last week, and then Jonathan Dwyer stepped in with 107 yards on the ground, including a 76-yard run. Defensively for Jacksonville, Aaron Campman is back, but not starting. Hasn't played in 13 straight games with the ACL injury. Jeremy Mincey has been a standout on that D-line. Linebackers, Russell Allen is in for Clint Session, who's out with an arm injury, and in the secondary, Will Middleton starts for the injured Derek Cox, who's out with a groin injury. Trying to take it up the middle for Mendenhall, and Allen the first man to greet him. It's a 2-yard gain as he got driven backwards.
Steelers are featuring their running attack on the right side of their offensive line. Jonathan Scott is playing that right tackle spot. Ramon Foster in for Legursky. Legursky goes to the left side. So both these teams, I have trouble with their offensive line as far as injuries are concerned. It'll be interesting to see which defense takes advantage of that situation.
This will be a 2nd and 8 now for Pittsburgh. Antonio Brown is in as a third receiver. Outscoring opponents 67-17 at home. Heath Miller out near midfield. It's a 13-yard hookup and a first down for the Steelers. Rasheed Mathis there defensively.
Well, it's a cover 2, and Posluszny has the tight end Miller here. He comes down into the outside. Roethlisberger did a good job with his snap count, allowed the defense to show him they were going to play that cover 2. This is tough for the middle linebacker. Has to cover a lot of ground in that middle on that type of defense.
And Miller really is a great combination of blocking and receiving as Mendenhall gets the call. And rumbling his way to the 45-yard line. Good block there by Miller. Ball was loose, but it was already whistled down. 6.5-yard gain for Mendenhall, who has looked spry so far in this first quarter.
Yeah, he has. And Matt Roth, who's taking the spot of Aaron Campman at that left defensive end spot for the Jaguars. He's getting worked over pretty good right now.
7th play of the drive. Roth now on the Jacksonville sideline. Mendenhall remains in the game.
180.
David Johnson in front of him. Looks for an opening, and not much there for Mendenhall. Russell Allen read it very well. Just a 1-yard gain. Well, the hamstring injuries that have affected notable running backs over the course of the season. Mendenhall missing last week's game because of it.
Yeah, lockout. That's where you get this type of situation. That less work in the offseason, no OTAs, training camp abbreviated. A lot of hamstring problems and Achilles tendon problems throughout the league this season.
Roethlisberger working out of the gun on a 3rd and 3 in Jacksonville territory. 5:48 to go in this first quarter. Roethlisberger stepping up and finds the open man. It's Sanders. The second-year wideout out of SMU getting in on the act, and it covers 32 yards.
Steelers come with 4 wide receivers. You put a lot of speed on the field with Antonio Brown and Sanders, and of course with Mike Wallace. Here is Sanders. Again, it's Roethlisberger refusing to go down, breaks that tackle, just whips the ball out to the outside to Sanders, just his 8th catch of the season. But we're going to see a lot of this today. 32 yards for the youngster.
Roethlisberger has a 152 career touchdown passes. That's second only to Terry Bradshaw in team history with 212. Back to the ground game. Mendenhall driving. Look at the white jerseys surround him, and Mendenhall able to carry a couple with him for a 5-yard pickup. Posluszny in on that stop.
Good opening drive for the Steelers. Doing a lot of it on the ground and a lot of it on the right side of their offensive line.
See what Pittsburgh has done in the red zone this season. They are now inside the 10. We are under 5 minutes to play in this opening quarter. 10th play of the drive. Steelers losses this season at Baltimore and at Houston. Entering play at 3-2. Mendenhall busting it to the outside. The dive. Touchdown.
There doesn't seem to be any problem with Rashard Mendenhall's hamstring on this play, because this is where you really test it, where you've got to turn on the jets to the outside and then around the corner. Good block on the outside by Mike Wallace, and then a bad angle of pursuit there by Rasheed Mathis, and good effort by Mendenhall to get to that pylon and get in the end zone.
Of course, they'll take a look at it. All scoring drives and plays are reviewed. Mendenhall 6 carries, 26 yards, and the touchdown run for Mendenhall, his 3rd of the season. Overall, it's a 10-play drive, 87 yards. Ron Winter has been given the indication. It was a touchdown, so Sean squeezes him on for the extra point. The punter Sepulveda will hold. Greg Warren, the snapper. The Pittsburgh Steelers with a 7-0 lead over Jacksonville. Ground and pound for Pittsburgh with Mendenhall doing the damage to open it up.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. McDonald's, I'm loving it. And by Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Here we go.
Heinz Field right on the water here in Pittsburgh. The Steelers made it look very easy on that opening drive to put 7 on the board. 10 plays, 87 yards. It took nearly 6 minutes. Mendenhall with the 8-yard touchdown run to punctuate it. And now Sean Sweezum kicking it off to Kareem, waiting deep for Jacksonville. Shorter kick, and Kareem 2 yards deep in the end zone will take it out. And Kareem out across the 30-yard line. Sweezum able to get over there. 33-yard return. Pittsburgh with a 7-0 lead on Jacksonville. Back in Pittsburgh this week, our Fouts focus, defense, and the reigning NFL Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, when facing the Steelers, a quarterback has to play. Where's Polamalu? First thing is a fine number 43. Lined up inside as a linebacker. Sometimes he's found deep in the secondary as a safety. But he's most dangerous near the line of scrimmage when he can time that quarterback snap count and come across the line, make plays in the backfield. Nobody does it better than Polamalu. Just uncanny.
Mercedes Lewis saying Polamalu is just a flat-out beast. He was a senior at USC when Lewis was a freshman at UCLA. Just remembers that hair flying around. Gabbert, deep ball. There was a little bit of separation, but not enough. And too far for Jared Dillard, defended by Ike Taylor. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Yeah, and just a little hesitation on Gabbert's part. I don't think he saw Dillard breaking clear. If he leads him across the field, he's got the angle on the defensive back, but Gabbert just let that one go. Wasn't really confident in that throw.
Now, the concerning number right now for Gabbert, completion percentage. He is under 50% so far in his rookie season at 49%. 0-3 as a starter, 2nd and 10. Maurice Jones-Drew knifing to the 35-yard line. William Gay over there, 4.5-yard gain.
You know, getting back to your point about his pass percentage, completion rate, and all that, he's not getting anything out of the tight end position. Mercedes Lewis only has 8 catches so far this year, and that's the quarterback's best friend, is the tight end over the middle. That's how you build up a completion rate that's a lot higher than 50%.
Lewis, a Pro Bowler last year at that spot, and signed a 5-year, $34 million deal before the season began. Deji Kareem is in. 4 receivers set. 3rd and 6. They get the play off. Gabbert in some trouble, and Gabbert is dumped. Pittsburgh collapsing in. Brett Kiesel celebrating the sack. It's a loss of 6.
Yeah, 14 times. Now watch this. This is called the coffee house defense by the Steelers. Everybody's just kind of milling around, standing up. A lot of question, trying to confuse the quarterback. I think they confused the offensive line just as much. 2nd sack of the first quarter on Gabbert.
Nick Harris, former Bengal, former Lion. Career average of 42.5 yards per kick. Antonio Brown waiting at the 27, and fair catch called for, brings it in cleanly. That's where the Steelers will have it after the 43-yard punt. Steelers have the touchdown lead over Jacksonville. Rashard Mendenhall back in business in the Pittsburgh backfield.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by E-Trade, Investing Unleashed, and by Toyota.
Pittsburgh Steelers at 3-2, taking on the 1-4 Jacksonville Jaguars. 2:55 to play in this opening quarter. And Pittsburgh with a 7-0 advantage. Play action. Roethlisberger has got the time. Deep ball. Mike Wallace. And it's broken up to Juan Landry coming over to help.
Yeah, just an underthrown ball by Ben Roethlisberger. That's not that hard to do when you got a speedster like Wallace, but you can see how he has to gather himself. That ball should have been picked off by Landry. He had both hands on this ball. May have been distracted a little bit there by his teammate Drew Coleman, but you can see that Wallace was behind the secondary.
Wallace is putting up big numbers this season.
Block it up.
Hand off. Hole for Mendenhall. And Rashard Mendenhall zigzags across the 40-yard line. Good block by the H-back David Johnson to help spring Mendenhall to a 12-yard gain.
Yeah, tight end Heath Miller gets there. There's Robinson's block, or Johnson's block rather. But that's the first time the Steelers have run left. They're having their way, whether it's left or right, against this Jag defense right now.
Last year, Mendenhall, 1,273 yards rushing, 13 touchdowns. Numbers were down this season, only averaging 3 yards per carry coming into the game. And Mendenhall today, 38 yards on the ground. They get Hines Ward involved. Catch and run for Ward. Out near the 40-yard line. That one covers 19 yards with Ward doing most of the work.
Well-designed play by Bruce Arians. As you see, Hines Ward coming in motion. That backs the corners off. Good block on the outside by Sanders. Took out Coleman. Ward made one miss and picks up a first down as the Steelers are doing anything and everything they want to do today.
He is closing in on 1,000 career receptions and 12,000 career receiving yards. Hines Ward, future Hall of Famer, on a pitch. Mendenhall stops and stacked up by Allen. Time for an NFL Today update. Let's head to New York and check in with JB.
Fouts said a tight end is a quarterback's best friend, so is a good running back. So is Fred Jackson right here, right up the middle. Safety misses him, takes a bad angle. He goes 80 yards for a touchdown. Longest play this year for the Bills. Fred Jackson, 80 yards.
Even it up at 7-all. Back to the bird and the beard.
All right, JB and the coach. Coach Bill Cowher knows a little bit something about this stadium, Heinz Field. So many great memories for him in the city of Pittsburgh. Isaac Redmond is in the game, and Redmond gets the call. Bouncing back towards us for a 5-yard gain. That play was designed headed towards the right, and then Jeremy Mincy makes that stop. Iron Eagle, Dan Fouts, if you want to figure out which is which.
I'm taller.
That's right. With facial hair. I'm incapable of growing a beard, apparently.
Or growing taller.
that one I know. End of the first quarter. 3rd and 4 coming up for Pittsburgh. We'll have second quarter action coming up with the Steelers in front 7-0. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Get the edge you need to win your fantasy league. Interactive tools, award-winning player rankings, and expert chats throughout the week. All at cbssports.com/fantasy news. 7-0 Pittsburgh leading Jacksonville. We start play in this second quarter. Blaine Gabbert having some long chats with Dirk Cutter. The man he replaced in the starting lineup, Luke McCown, over there as well, who started the first 2 games at quarterback. 3rd and 4 for Pittsburgh. Steelers on the move once again. Redmond parallel to Roethlisberger, working out of the gun. Here come the Jaguars to handle the rush. Roethlisberger throws. Oh, tight window there as he completes it to Hines Ward. And a first down. Drew Coleman, very good coverage. 9 yards as Big Ben was able to squeeze it in there.
And Doug Legursky is hurt, the starting left guard for the Steelers. He cannot even get off the field. Looks like to be a left leg injury. Here is Legursky.
So as they attend to Legursky, we'll step aside here in the second. Steelers medical staff looking at the left leg of Doug Legursky, the versatile offensive lineman, also the backup center to Marquise Pouncey. So Trey Essex steps in at left guard. Aaron Campman is in the game for Jacksonville. And the 7th play of the drive for Pittsburgh. Out of the gun, Roethlisberger, dump off for Heath Miller. Trying to shed tacklers, cannot. DeJuan Landry lost his helmet on the play. It's a loss of 2.
See if we can figure out what happened here to Legursky. And there he is, and this is Tyson Alu. And Alu is going to get a good bull rush on Legursky. Watch his left leg right there. And that is either a sprained ankle or an Achilles tendon problem. But right away, Legursky knew he was hurt, and he is headed to the locker room. Boy, so many injuries to this offensive line for the Steelers. It's unbelievable.
Steelers already thin there, mixing, matching pieces.
Black 80.
6th game, 6 different offensive line combination. 3 tight end set here for Pittsburgh. Play fake, pump. Roethlisberger, end zone, touchdown, Mike Wallace. Picture perfect for Pittsburgh.
No underthrow on this pass from Big Ben. And what he did, which was so smart, is he led Wallace away from the defensive back. So Wallace can use his speed to outrun the defender. And that is Rashean Mathis, who lets him go to the safety. Safety late coming over, Dwight Lowry, and a perfect pass from Big Ben.
28 yards on the touchdown. Roethlisberger to Wallace. They have become one of the most lethal combinations in the NFL. Squeeze them on for the extra point. $14-0 Steelers. 8 plays, 72 yards. Ben Roethlisberger. I think that foot feels fine. Mike Wallace is on pace for 1,715 receiving yards this season. That would be a new Steelers single-season record. He and Roethlisberger, they have got the chemistry going, and Sean Sweezum will kick it off for Pittsburgh. Kareem returning for Jacksonville, 4 yards deep in the end zone. Up the middle, Kareem stays on his feet and brought down as he hit the 25-yard line by Curtis Brown. Let's go back to the touchdown, Dan.
A couple of things to check out here. Watch Heath Miller on his route and how it affects the other safety, DeJuan Landry. And then it's just the pure speed of Mike Wallace beating the coverage of Dwight Lowry. This is too deep. But as Miller goes across the field, one misstep by Landry, that allows Big Ben to air this one out to Mike Wallace. I think Roethlisberger's foot's okay. 7 of 8 for 104 and that touchdown.
And now the rookie quarterback Gabbard is in a 14-point hole on the road against the Steelers early second quarter. Pitch. And the play whistle dead. We'll hear from Ron Winter for the first time here this afternoon.
False start. Offense number 68. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
And it's Guy Wimper called on the penalty. Follow the NFL while on the go. The NFL's mobile apps are all new for the 2011 season. To get the apps, go to NFL.com/mobile. Mike Wallace and the Pittsburgh Steelers leading the Jaguars 14-0. Now a 1st and 15 for Jacksonville back at the 20-yard line. Maurice Jones-Drew running it off tackle for a 5-yard pickup, hit by James Farrior.
And we've got a Jacksonville offensive lineman, Uche Nwaneri, slow getting up. He's going to come back to the huddle, but he's limping heavily on his left leg.
Nwaneri playing at right guard. Brad Meester at center, and then after that, well, it's anybody's guess week in and week out. Evan Britton was the right tackle before the season started, but he was injured. They moved him to left guard. He is inactive today. Cameron Bradfield getting an opportunity, and Will Rackley. Gabbard out of the pocket. Pressure from Woodley, and Gabbard throws it away. That'll be 3rd and long coming up for Jacksonville.
Well, Woodley's having a couple of good games back-to-back. He got a sack earlier in the first quarter on Gabbard, and that time chases him out of the pocket and it forces him to throw it away.
Blaine Gabbert celebrating his 22nd birthday yesterday. We asked him, what are you doing? He said, having dinner with my dad, Chuck Gabbert, in town and in attendance here today and surrounded by Steeler fans.
He's as uncomfortable as his son is right now.
3rd and 10 for Jacksonville. And a timeout. Play clock was down to 2. 12:44 remaining in the first half. It's been all Steelers.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Autotrader.com. Now compare new and used cars side by side at Autotrader.com. Sprint. All football, no limits. Only from Sprint. And by State Farm. For auto, home, life, and banking. Get to a better state.
Really nice day here in Pittsburgh. Steelers leading at 14-0 over Jacksonville. And tonight on CBS, this former NFL star can run the field, but can he dive the depths? A new amazing race in Thailand. That's Marcus Pollard, the former Indianapolis Colt. Tonight, only CBS. Jacksonville called a timeout. Blaine Gabbert. Jack Del Rio telling us it's a high volume of information for a rookie quarterback, on-the-job training, but he has not sensed that Gabbert has been fazed by this. He said he cares a lot, and his teammates can tell that he cares a lot, so he's won over that locker room very early. 3rd and 10 for Gabbert and the Jaguars. Shotgun. Gabbert. Too high on the throw for Mercedes Lewis. Got his hands on it. It's incomplete, and Jacksonville goes 3 and out.
Well, that's a too familiar sight for Jaguar fans. The ball being thrown a little bit too high for Lewis, and that says something. At 6'6", he can really get up there, but could not haul that one in.
So a busy day for Nick Harris, signed this week. Originally a 4th-round pick back in 2001 by the Denver Broncos. Antonio Brown and Emmanuel Sanders are both deep for Pittsburgh. It's Brown. Now it's Sanders. And Sanders with a spin move across the 25-yard line. It ends up being a loss of 5 on the return. Ben Roethlisberger. He is doing everything right so far in this first half. It's always standing room only for Steeler Nation here in Pittsburgh. First 2 possessions for the Steelers, resulting in touchdowns. They take over with a 1st and 10 at the 28. Mendenhall, stutter step up the middle, and Mendenhall trying to take it the distance. Mendenhall, big rip down the sideline and brought down by Coleman inside the 5. Penalty marker is thrown back at the 48-yard line.
Yeah, this penalty will wipe out the career-long run for Richard Mendenhall. Probably holding on one of the wide receivers, or maybe not, as the official's picking it up. It's going to be, looks like against the Jaguars.
Personal foul. Best in a face mask. Defense number 27. Penalized half the distance to the goal. First down.
68 yards for Mendenhall as he just goes right up the middle past Posluszny. Not sure where the face mask was. Perhaps it was on Mathis. Right about there, just a little bit of a grab. 68 big ones for Mendenhall.
Now this is a Jacksonville team that came in number 8 in team defense. And the Steelers are making them pay today. 1st and goal. Mendenhall stacked up. It'll be 2nd and goal inside the 5, a loss of 1 on the play. Mendenhall over 100 yards in the first half.
And again, after the touchdown run, it was clear that his hamstring was fine. He's breathing a little bit heavily in the huddle right now, but that 68-yarder, no question about the hamstring now.
He came in with 173 rushing yards on the season. 2nd and goal. Take the handoff. Incomplete, trying to hit Hines Ward.
After the play fake from the right side, you're going to see Ward flash in here. And you also, if you could read his lips as he came back to the huddle, he said, I'm sorry, I should have had this one. Went right through his hands.
So it sets up 3rd and goal now for the Steelers. Already in front, 14-0.
51.
Empty backfield, Roethlisberger working from the gun. On 3rd down, Roethlisberger just a bit too high for Antonio Brown. He had him open. Incomplete. The Steelers will have to settle for a short field goal.
Well, it was the pressure from Dwight Lowry. Watched from the left side of the screen. There's Lowry. And Big Ben just let that one fly. But I think perhaps he saw Lowry coming. Boy, he had a wide open receiver, though. First bad pass of the day by Roethlisberger. Actually, it was Landry, not Lowry.
21-yard field goal attempt, Sean Sweezum. And he knocks it through to extend the Pittsburgh lead to 17-0. Still early in the second quarter.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by FedEx. FedEx does more than shipping. FedEx, solutions that matter. And by the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot.
Steelers with a 17-0 lead, and coming up, the Sprint halftime report. JB and company, the latest NFL scores and highlights. That's all coming up on the Sprint halftime report. Steelers with another impressive drive. 5 plays, 69 yards. Mendenhall nearly took it to the house. And now Sean Sweezum will kick it off after his short field goal of 21 yards. Them right now. 25-yard return for Kareem.
It's been a tough first half for Blaine Gabbert. He started off well. That first drive, they went 10 plays, 34 yards, but he's been under pressure quite a bit, been sacked twice. And the Jaguars offensively in their last 2 possessions, they've been able to manage just 3 yards in 6 plays. It's all part of the education of a rookie quarterback in the NFL. Tough assignment today going against this Steeler defense and coordinator Dick LeBeau.
On first down, it's Maurice Jones-Drew taking it to the second level and beyond. Hit by William Gay, 19-yard gain. JB and another Pittsburgh guy, Dan Marino, standing by. NFL Today update.
Iron shades of Dan Fouts.
Oh, man, look at this. Green Bay's on fire. Pump fake. Aaron Rodgers to Jordy Nelson. Defensive back trips up. He goes 93 yards for a touchdown. That's Aaron Rodgers' 16th of the year. 17-0 Green Bay.
Iron.
What happened?
That Green Bay team is just too good. Too good right now. That's a 6-yard gain for Jones-Drew. And they can do it in so many different ways, Dan.
Oh, I want to get back to the shades of Dan Fouts thing. Is it because of the uniforms the Packers were wearing? Is that what reminded Marino of that?
Literally shades of Dan Fouts. 2nd and 4. Gabbert out of the gun. They handle the rush. Ball got tipped at the line and almost intercepted. Ziggy Hood, Brett Kiesel. They're playing without Casey Hampton, without Aaron Smith, without James Harrison, and it has not been a problem for this Pittsburgh defense so far.
Yeah, I'm going to take a back seat to the real beard here. That's Kiesel getting up in the air and almost knocking it over to Ziggy Hood. 6'5", Kiesel playing volleyball.
Are you intimidated by Kiesel's beard?
A little bit.
Movement on a 3rd and 4, so that was 3rd and manageable yardage for Jacksonville.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense number 56. Movement into the neutral zone that caused the offense to false start. A 5-yard penalty that results in a first down.
So they get a new set of downs after the Woodley penalty, and here are the key injuries on that side of the ball for Pittsburgh.
Well, and when you look at the Pro Bowl appearances for these three guys, you can see just how much they mean to the Steelers. But the Steelers have depth. They have guys like Larry Foote that can fill in, guy that's been here before.
Foote making his 100th career start today. Deji Kareem, little shake and bake up the gut. And Kareem's got a first down across the 35. Good block by Cameron Bradfield, the rookie out of Grand Valley.
Yeah, this is the longest run of the season for Kareem. And 2 first downs in a row.
So Jacksonville trying to put something together on offense now, trailing 17-0, 9:27 left. First half, Gabbert with a deep drop. Gabbert fires too high and offline. Jason Hill in the area, and a late flag on the play. Thrown at the 14-yard line.
Yeah, Hill was looking for a flag, and he got it. He felt that he was interfered with. Perhaps a holding would be called against the Steelers.
Holding. Number 29 defense. A 5-yard penalty and a first down.
And it's called against Ryan Mundy.
Yeah, that's wrong because it's not. It's Ike Taylor, number 24. Here's Taylor. Watch him reach out and grab Hill right there. Yeah, grabbed a little face mask even.
So Jacksonville inching closer now inside the 30-yard line. Jones Drew in the backfield. First down for the Jaguars. And a quick toss to the sideline. Thomas, good spin move to create something there for Mike Thomas. Steelers were ready for it. And it's a 4-yard gain, so a modest gain. Keenan Lewis whiffed initially, and then Ryan Clark ranged over.
Make it down 6.
Gabbert is now 5-10. Gabbert hit as he throws, and he goes down. Troy Polamalu.
Well, where's Polamalu? Well, he's right in your face, and he does another great job of timing the snap count of Gabbert. Number 43, watch him sneak up here and then just shoot the gap. Is he offsides? Nope, just perfect.
3rd and 6 for the Jaguars. Gabbert is sacked. 3rd time today. Lamar Woodley breaking free for this Steelers defense.
Now this is 2 sacks on the afternoon for Woodley as he overpowers Wimper, the right tackle. Woodley only had 3 sacks all year before this afternoon.
Josh Scobie on for a 46-yard field goal attempt. This is one of the tougher stadiums to kick in. Scobie is 8 of 8 on the season. And he's now 9 of 9. Jacksonville is on the board. Pittsburgh with a 17-3 lead in the second quarter. Got the midweek football blues, then take an hour of NFL films, highlights, and perceptive analysis from TV's best team. Wall-to-wall football and commercial-free inside the NFL Wednesdays on Showtime. Josh Scobie with a 46-yard field goal. That's a new franchise record. He's kicked a field goal in 14 straight games. Maurice Jones-Drew with a big run to help that drive along. And the Jaguars trail the Steelers 17-3. 8:44 remaining in the second quarter. Scobie will now kick it off to Antonio Brown.
Well, they showed some life on that drive. That big run, as you talked about, Ian, from Maurice Jones-Drew got them feeling a little bit more confident.
Maurice Jones-Drew comes in, the number 4 rusher in the NFL. Out of the end zone. Making contact with the crossbar, and the Steelers will have it at the 20-yard line. Ben Roethlisberger, 5 touchdown passes last week, tying a franchise record that he held. And a touchdown here today to Mike Wallace.
Missed his last 2, or he would have 2 touchdown passes on the afternoon.
Black 80. Block it up.
Isaac Redmond is in the game, and Redmond gets the call. Up the middle, not much there as he is able to squeeze out a 2-yard gain. Matt Roth and Pusluzny there defensively. So for Roethlisberger, the 5 touchdowns and the 38-17 win over Tennessee. Bradshaw did it in 1981. Mark Malone in 1985 against Indianapolis, and Roethlisberger did it in 2007. Second and 8 now for Roethlisberger and the Steelers.
Block 80.
So Mendenhall on the sideline. Redmond remains in there. Take the handoff. Roethlisberger steps up. Roethlisberger throwing the deep ball. And too far for Sanders. Emmanuel Sanders, who's got good speed. That's a department that Pittsburgh has improved in last couple of years, drafting Wallace and drafting Sanders.
Yeah, they've got a track team here. Watch him go right down the middle. If Roethlisberger can set his feet, Sanders is gone as he just cruises. Not even full speed. Could not catch up to that one. Overthrown about by 5 yards, but that's the advantage that Roethlisberger talked about with the speed of Sanders, Antonio Brown, and of course, we've already seen it with Mike Wallace.
And you see what Pittsburgh's been able to do through the air. Jacksonville has kept it a little closer to the vest. And a timeout taken by the Steelers. 7:55 remaining in this first half. Pittsburgh in front 17-3. You know, we talk a lot about record-breaking performances. Here's one for you. For the first time in television history, one network has 20 of the top 30 shows so far this season. Only CBS. Packed house here at Heinz Field. The Steelers a half game behind the Baltimore Ravens, tied with Cincinnati in the AFC North. They've had 7 straight wins at home. This is a veteran group, excellent leadership. Defense is aging, but still among the best in football.
Yeah, he's good. We good.
Redmond in the backfield, a 3rd and 8 after the timeout. From the gun, pump, Roethlisberger dials up another deep ball. Mike Wallace hauls it in. And a matchup with Rashean Mathis. 47-yard bomb.
2 catches now for Wallace for 75 yards. Roethlisberger can set his feet and let it fly. Single coverage as the Jags were coming with the blitz. Watch the concentration here. And not an easy catch with Mathis really close to Wallace. Little bobble there, control all the way to the ground, and a happy quarterback.
Wallace 3rd in the NFL in receiving yards, entering play this week behind Wes Welker and Steve Smith. Redmond takes the hole and accelerates through it for a 5-yard pickup. Pusluzny with the hit.
Another tackle for the hometown guy from Hopewell High School, Pusluzny. If he doesn't make that tackle, Redmond's got a lot of yardage.
Yeah, Pusluzny saying, I only had to get 9 tickets this year. He got off easy because of a lot of his friends are Steeler fans that already had tickets. He asked him, well, who are you rooting for? He says, well, we want to see you do well, but we want to see the Steelers win.
Mom and Dad in the stands.
On a 2nd and 5, Redmond running into a crowd. And flag is thrown. Pusluzny got his helmet in on that play. Ron Winter.
Holding. Offense number 53. 10-yard penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
And Pusluzny grew up a Steeler fan. His folks in attendance, Jackie and Paul Pusluzny Sr. He said Jack Lambert and Jack Ham were his heroes growing up. They were immortals here in Pittsburgh, and I think you know those guys a little bit, no?
Yeah, but I want to know why his dad's wearing a Notre Dame hat when Pusluzny, Paul the younger, went to Penn State. Come on, Dad, are you incognito totally?
Yeah, his brother goes there, so there is some family connection there. It wasn't random. 2nd and 15, the pump, and Roethlisberger pass knocked down with another penalty marker thrown, this time back at the 46-yard line.
Yeah, they may get Jonathan Scott for holding. Terrence Knighton was putting pressure on. That's a big pot roast
Illegal
being held.
hands to the face. Offense number 72. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, second down.
Knighton at 336 pounds. And on the outside, actually, here they are right here. 72 is Jonathan Scott. He's going to reach out and punch Knighton in the face as he goes by.
Steelers had this drive at the 26-yard line and now are backed up to the 46. And a 2nd and 25 for Pittsburgh. Under 6 minutes to play, first half. Roethlisberger throwing and snared there by Miller, getting extra yardage as he curls upfield for a pickup of 11. The linebacker Darrell Smith trying to bounce back from a concussion himself, making the hit.
Getting their tight end involved are the Steelers. Miller with 4 catches now in the first half. But that gets back some of that penalty yardage for the Steelers. But again, it's good pass distribution by Roethlisberger.
Now 3rd and 14 as Big Ben continues to spread it around. 17-3, Steelers leading the Jaguars. Penalty flag, timing was off.
Looked like the Jaguars were pulled off by Ben's hard count. That's not easy to do from the shotgun.
Encroachment. Defense number 94. 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
Mincy saying, hey, I wasn't the only guy. I had company. Watch the hard count here. Posluszny's coming.
Take your pick.
Yep.
We had no flags in the first quarter. We have had 7 in the second quarter. Now a 3rd and 9 for Pittsburgh. Just shy of the 30-yard line. Shotgun formation. Roethlisberger. Time. Throws. It's complete. Isaac Redman with the catch, but he only picks up a couple of yards on the reception as Paul Posluszny made sure he couldn't get anywhere near the marker.
And Roethlisberger had about 8 seconds to find a receiver. Finally came down to his outlet receiver in Redman, who made a pretty good catch, and that was solid tackle by Posluszny, who will bring out the Steeler field goal team.
And this is the tougher end of the field to kick long field goals, the open side.
Yeah, but no breeze. You see the streamers at the top of the goalpost. Very little breeze.
We'll call it a 46-yard field goal attempt for Sean Sweezum.
He yanked it.
Way off to the left. So the Jaguars defense holds there, 17-3. Pittsburgh in front with 4:05 to play, second quarter.
And they'll get real good field position because of this pull shot. You can see the streamers. There's no wind at all to affect that. I think it's gotten to be more psychological now for kickers coming in and trying to kick in this direction, whether you're a Steeler or a visitor.
You look at the numbers. Kickers are 3 of 15 from 50 yards away or more all time at Heinz Field. There was a 50-yard plus barrage last week around the NFL. Sebastian Janikowski doing most of that damage for Oakland. So a first down for Jacksonville from the 36. Gabbert forced out. Gabbert on the move and angles himself out of bounds as he picks up a yard. Ziggy Hood applying that pressure among others. And one of the officials lost his cap.
Well, he was marking that a receiver went out of bounds and therefore could not come back in and be the first to touch the ball. That's what that signal means. But Gabbert, he's signaling, hey, I'm running for my life back here.
That was the side judge, Tom Hill. 2nd and 9 now for Jacksonville. From the gun. Incomplete. Tried to get it to Mercedes Lewis, and the veteran James Farrior, one of the captains of this Steelers squad, over there to make the play defensively.
Yeah, a real puzzle to a lot of people why Lewis hasn't caught a whole lot of passes. I asked him about that yesterday. He says, well, you know, I am a late bloomer.
I did mention that, but they need him to bloom now. He said it's been growing pains for the offense. He feels like they're getting better. We're not seeing it, though, so far today. Fourth sack of the afternoon for Pittsburgh. This time it's James Ferrier, the two-time Pro Bowler. In his 15th year in the NFL, brings down the 22-year-old Blaine Gabbert.
Here he is sneaking up here, and there's just nobody to block him. Maurice Jones-Drew was releasing on his pass route. And this is rough on any quarterback, especially a rookie quarterback. Gabbert was looking to his left side, never really saw Ferrier on the blitz.
And a very quiet drive there for Jacksonville. Nick Harris punting. Returnable, Antonio Brown. He handled that first wave. It was the second wave that was ready for him. Russell Allen there. And a flag thrown back at the 34-yard line of Jacksonville. Looks like we had a hold. Ron Winters sorting it out.
During the kick. Holding. Return team. 10-yard penalty. First down.
So back it up for the Steelers with 3:12 left first half. Saturday, the Home Depot SEC on CBS is in Death Valley. The Auburn Tigers tangle with the top-ranked Tigers of LSU. It all begins with college football today, Saturday, live at 3 o'clock Eastern, right here on CBS.
This is really where the Jaguar defense has got to make a statement. Coming into the game, they've only taken the ball away 6 times. They have no fumble recoveries. They've only forced 2 fumbles all year. This is what Jack Del Rio says. We need a turnover, and if we get one, we've got to score with it.
And what did Posluszny say? Look, they've been solid, very sound defensively, pretty much basic, but now the next step, make some game-changing plays. Mendenhall is back in there after he got a series off. Austin Lane making that stop, a 1-yard gain. Offensively for Pittsburgh, we've seen some big plays on their side of the ball.
Well, Mike Wallace getting deep is nothing new, but Rashard Mendenhall with a career-long 68-yarder.
Steelers are yet to punt in this first half. 2:44 remaining. Give his to Mendenhall, and he drives out near the 20-yard line. Posluszny with another stop for Jacksonville. That's a 6-yard gain.
And Roethlisberger will get him right to the line of scrimmage. Does not want to use a timeout here. Get him right to the line of scrimmage before the 2-minute warning.
Gets the word from Bruce Arians, offensive coordinator. Now it's 3rd and 3 for Pittsburgh. You see the game clock and the play clock about 1 second off, so he can let it hit the 2-minute warning without an issue, and that's what he's going to do. So Pittsburgh will face a 3rd and 3 when we come back with 2 minutes to play in this first half. It's been interesting to see how this offense has evolved under Bruce Arians, the offensive coordinator, last couple of years. Pittsburgh was known as a running team. They've become more of a passing team because of the weapons that they have through the air. And now a 3rd and 3 for the Steelers. Empty backfield here. 2 minutes to go in this second quarter. 5 receivers. Roethlisberger to Antonio Brown. And Brown has a first down for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, one of those weapons you just talked about, Ian. The speed of Antonio Brown, Emmanuel Sanders, and Mike Wallace. That's why this offense has evolved.
16 yards on the pass play. First down at the 35. Roethlisberger looked one way through the other, and off the ricochet, Rasheem Mathis was over there defensively matched up with Mike Wallace.
And almost intercepted by Mathis, something he's done a lot against the Steelers. He has 6 career interceptions against the Steelers. 3 of those he's taken to the end zone. That would have been an interesting race if Mathis caught that ball. Wallace had to chase him down from behind.
Play calling so far, balanced. 16 running plays, 16 passing plays for Pittsburgh. 2nd and 10. Roethlisberger. Long ball. And Wallace was over there. Incomplete. That rainbow delivery by Ben Roethlisberger, and Wallace was waiting for it.
Yeah, trying to make a Willie Mays over the head catch. Very difficult for Wallace. I think this ball just got away from Roethlisberger. You can see how far to the outside it was. Bruce Arians saying that, Wallace is no longer a one-trick pony, but when he did have the one trick, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Middle.
One of the premier deep threats in the NFL.
Maybe the fastest receiver in the entire league.
Timeout, Jacksonville with 1:25 left on the clock. So Pittsburgh holding on to the 17-3 lead, hoping for some more points before we hit the break. And coming up, Sprint halftime report, JB and the rest of the crew, scores and highlights. A look around the league in week 6. That's coming up on the Sprint halftime report. Steelers still have 2 timeouts to work with. Blaine Gabbert in this first half, 5 of 12, just 36 yards.
And he's been sacked 4 times. Running for his life another couple of times. Happy birthday, huh, Blaine?
Now, no doubt, this is the NFL for a young first-year quarterback. Faced Cincinnati last week. Jacksonville's home for Baltimore next week. That's another ferocious defense. 3rd and 10 for Pittsburgh.
Middle.
4 receiver set. Blocking holds up. Roethlisberger almost intercepted. Right on the fingertips of Dwight Lowry. Emmanuel Sanders intended target, and Pittsburgh will punt for the first time.
Yeah, this ball goes right through the hands of Sanders and then right off the chest of Lowry.
Lowry, who already has 2 picks.
Well, he had a pick last week. He almost took all the way back to the end zone. That's what Del Rio's talking about.
Daniel Sepulveda averaging just under 50 yards per punt. That one bounces high in the air and does take a Pittsburgh Steeler roll to the 22-yard line. That's a 43-yard punt for Sepulveda. And Jacksonville will have 1:06 to work with, trailing by 14.
And they got to work with Cecil Shorts. He's got to come up and make that catch. Not only do you lose yardage, you lose time off the clock, especially at the end of the first half here. Special teams have not contributed to the in a positive way to this Jaguar football team this season.
Yeah, Shorts, rookie out of Mount Union, made a bad decision on a punt return late in the game last week in the 30-20 loss to Cincinnati. Shotgun formation for Gabbert. Incomplete. Boy, he and Mercedes Lewis just having a tough time getting on the same page in this first half.
Yeah, he's missed him a couple of times. One time was high. That one was well behind Lewis. Whether Lewis is not running at the proper depth or not, or if it's just a quarterback who's been under fire, a little bit antsy in the pocket maybe.
Well, Blaine Gabbert was drafted as the quarterback of the future, but circumstances have made him the quarterback of the present in Jacksonville. Dump off. Maurice Jones-Drew can't break free. Brett Kiesel. Loss of 3 on the play.
I think Kiesel wrapped his beard around his ankles. You just don't bring down Maurice Jones-Drew by what an effort by Kiesel.
3rd and 13. Pittsburgh not electing to use a timeout here late. Could have stopped the clock and gotten the football back. Instead, Jacksonville with 22 seconds left facing a 3rd and long. Inside handoff. Jones-Drew for 2. Clark and Kiesel combined to bring him down.
Yeah, you're right, Ian. They did call timeout now, but that's about 25 seconds late. They could get good field position.
So the Steelers have 1 timeout remaining, 13 seconds left on the clock. Now the wind is starting to pick up.
Boy, that's no kidding. The streamers, maybe that's what Tomlin saw. He doesn't think that they can make a field goal. Remember, Sweezen just missed going in this direction when the wind was very calm. But it's whipping now.
So fourth down here for Jacksonville. Nick Harris coming on. They let Adam Podlesh sign as a free agent with the Chicago Bears. That's when Turk came on. The 43-year-old who was released this week had a 22-yard punt last week, which may have sealed his fate. Jeremy Kane, the snapper. Antonio Brown. And that punt out of bounds with 6 seconds remaining in this first half.
And the Steelers are well within range of Roethlisberger's arm to get the ball all the way across the goal line and into the end zone. But the Steelers did blow an opportunity here with those 2 timeouts, to, especially when you factor in the type of field position they have right now.
So they get it at the 45-yard line. 6 seconds remaining. Leading 17-3.
Clock.
And play is whistle dead. Flag comes down on the far side.
False start. Offense number 84. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Antonio Brown trying to get a little bit of a head start. Well, the numbers: Pittsburgh 316 yards of offense in this first half. Jacksonville under 100.
Pretty good balance too for Pittsburgh. Roethlisberger's thrown for 181, and Mendenhall's already rushed for 113.
And after that penalty, they'll tighten it up and take a knee to end this first half. The Pittsburgh Steelers teaching a lesson to the young quarterback so far. Steelers 17, Jaguars 3 at the break. We'll come back. The Sprint halftime report is coming up after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. NFL on CBS game summary. It has been a very good day for the Pittsburgh offense. Rashard Mendenhall returning. Roethlisberger to Wallace, crisp as usual. And defensively, Pittsburgh getting it done. Blaine Gabbert, the rookie quarterback, having his problems. Steelers leading the Jaguars 17-3. We get you ready for second half action. Right now, let's take a look at the NFL Mobile Recap presented by Verizon. Dan?
Well, it's a 68-yard run by Rashard Mendenhall, longest of his career. Get in there behind Marquise Pouncey, and Drew Coleman will save the touchdown for the Jaguars. But as you talked about, Ian, just a perfect day, both offense and defense for the Steelers. They're a little flat there at the end of the first half. That gives the Jaguars some type of hope, but they've got to come out in the second half and do something because, you know, Gabbert's gone down 4 times. He's been off target most of the day, but it's been the pressure that's been on him.
Any quarterback would have to come in here with a little bit more awareness to go against this Pittsburgh defense because of the different looks they can give you. For a rookie quarterback seeing it for the first time, that's a tough combination.
Well, Dick LeBeau is a Hall of Famer as much as a player with the Detroit Lions as he has been with the Steelers as their defensive coordinator. But he told me that, we want to abuse every quarterback we play. But when it is a rookie quarterback, there are some things you can give him that it's different looks that he's not going to be ready for. And they've been just great pressure, 4 sacks in that first half, and Gabbert's run for his life on a number of other times.
First half numbers, it's all Pittsburgh. 315 total yards. And the Steelers get the football to start play in the second half. Scobie kicking it off to Antonio Brown. And he'll take it 9 yards deep in the end zone and take it out. And Brown sprints to the 25-yard line. That's where Pittsburgh will open up. Kyle Bosworth with a hit on special teams.
Well, over 300 yards of offense, and you can see where the Steelers have been able to get that. Good opening drive of the day. Second drive wasn't bad either as they got the touchdown pass to Mike Wallace. But since that point, Missed field goal, a punt, and then they let the clock run out at the end of the first half. Not using their timeouts.
Lost Doug Legursky in that first half to a left foot injury. Trey Essex has stepped in to replace him at left guard. 3 tight ends in this formation. Handoff to Mendenhall. And Mendenhall able to cut it to the outside and pick up 5 on the play. Will Middleton filling in for the injured Derek Cox, out with a groin injury, makes the stop.
It'll be interesting to see how the Jaguars respond here to start the second half. The Steelers have been so easy for them in that first half. Those first 3 drives, they get 17 points. See what the Jags can do now to see if they get back in this game in a hurry.
Well, this is the second lowest scoring team in the NFL at 11.8 points per game. St. Louis averaging 11.5. Mendenhall spins. Not much of a gain there. Maybe a half yard. Tyson Alualu, first man there. The number 10 pick in last year's draft.
Yeah, great penetration by Alualu. He didn't get him down on the ground, but he made him change direction where his teammates could bring Mendenhall down. But that's the key, though, penetration against any good running back.
So now Isaac Redmond checks in as the third down back. Mewelde Moore is still out with an ankle injury.
26,
so that's given Redmond more opportunity. It gave Jonathan Dwyer a chance last week because of the injury to Mendenhall. On third down, Roethlisberger puts it exactly where it has to be to Hines Ward, out to midfield, and a fresh set of downs to work with on the 19-yard pass play. Chris Perzinski brings him down.
Yeah, they were 5 of 8 on third downs in the first half. They start off perfectly in the second half. Good pass protection again. Ward just working his magic over the middle of the field. Great chemistry between the quarterback and receiver for many years here in Pittsburgh between those two.
And Roethlisberger is now 12 of 19 for 200 yards, a touchdown, no picks.
Block it up.
Fake the handoff to Mendenhall. Roethlisberger. Home run ball. Sanders, the intended receiver, incomplete.
A little bit of frustration starting to show on Big Ben's face. That's 4 times today that he's had a receiver, whether it's Wallace or that time Sanders, and he's not been able to connect when they have been behind the secondary of the Jaguars. Little play action fake to Mendenhall. That draws the safety up. And Ben just lets it go as far as he can. 2 yards too far.
Second and 10 from the 50.
Block it up.
Mendenhall in the backfield. He gets the call and bunched up. Tried to break it to the outside. Matt Roth could not break away from him. It's a loss of 2 on the play.
Yeah, this is a defense that only allows about 101 yards rushing per game. Roth at the top here does a nice job of getting through the offensive line.
Yeah, this Jacksonville D held their opponents to under 300 yards in 4 of the 5 games. They gave up more than 300 in the first half to Pittsburgh.
51
Steelers currently at 338. Mendenhall, 117 yards on the ground, thanks in large part to that 68-yard run, the longest of his career in the first half. Roethlisberger steps up. Roethlisberger to run. A couple of pump fakes for Roethlisberger, but was not going to get that first down on a 3rd and long. Scrambled for 7.
He was even pump faking after he was across the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
And talking to Posluszny, he says, you know, I'm 240. Roethlisberger's got to be at least 260. But when you jump on the big guy's back, he's going to go down. Good play by Posluszny.
And Daniel Sepulveda to punt. On injured reserve last year with a right knee injury. He's dealt with a couple of injuries in his career, big ones. And that one bounces into the end zone. Jacksonville will have it at the 20-yard line. A 45-yard punt, a net of just 25. Gabbert gets another crack at this Pittsburgh D. Well, second halves have not been strong offensively for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Only 3 points in the third quarter this season. That's last in the NFL. And first possession of the second half for Jacksonville, trailing 17-3. Give is to Maurice Jones-Drew, bouncing off a tackler. Doesn't go down easy, but it still goes down as no gain as he ran into Brett Kiesel.
Just 3 points in the first half for the Jaguars. Busy day for the punter, though. Not what you want to see if you're the Jags.
This is a Jacksonville team that runs 66% of the time on 1st and 10. That's the highest percentage in the league. Minnesota number 2 at 64% of the time. 2nd and 10 now. They'll run it again. Oh, Maurice Jones-Drew emerging through that hole. And he's got a first down. 11-yard gain across the 30-yard line.
He breaks so many tackles because of his strength. It's hard to pick out a spot on his body to tackle him. He's about the same size from his ankles to his shoulders. Just bounces off tacklers, punishing even Troy Polamalu.
Yeah, we asked Ryan Clark about him. He said he's a tree trunk. He's short, but he's not small. He's powerful, he's extremely quick, and very tough to bring down. On first down, spin move. Jones-Drew is tackled quickly by Clark. That combination, a loss of 1. Let's follow up on the Fouts focus of Troy Polamalu.
Well, Dick LeBeau calls him a coach's dream. He does everything for them. Lines up as a linebacker inside, also as a deep safety. And we've already seen his uncanny ability in the first half when he times the snap count of Blaine Gabbert's perfectly, sneaks up in there, and this just totally disrupts this play.
Polamalu backs off here on 2nd and 11. Play fake. Gabbert tried to get it into Mike Thomas. Low throw, and it's incomplete.
Yeah, it was a play-action pass, and it looked like Gabbert was more concerned with faking than getting the ball out and in front of his receiver there. Just a tad late on the pass. He's faking the ball to Maurice Jones-Drew. And the ball coming in just a little bit low. Thomas disappointed. He had his man beat.
Jacksonville is 1 of 7 on 3rd down conversions. Kareem is in there and a 4-receiver set for the Jaguars. 3rd and 11. Gabbert steps up. Flag down. And Gabbert will run for the first down. Is it coming back? Steelers seem to think so.
Holding. Offense number 65. 10-yard penalty. Repeat 3rd down.
And it's Will Rackley, the rookie out of Lehigh. So that negates a 14-yard scramble.
Here's Gabbert going back to pass, and Rackley will reach out and pull down Ferrier. Ferrier looking for his second pick of the afternoon. Or rather, second sack of the afternoon.
3rd and 21 now for Jacksonville. Gabbert over the middle and right through the hands of Lewis.
Boy, this ball was almost intercepted by Polamalu as it goes through the hands of Lewis. 89 right over the middle, right through his hands and off the leg of Polamalu. But this, if that was complete, that would have been about 10, 15 yards shy of the first down.
6th punt of the day for Nick Harris.
He might want to go in and renegotiate.
Yeah. Averaging 42.5 yards per punt in his career. He goes down. And the punt didn't go very far. Flags are thrown. Ryan Mundy.
The question is, though, did Mundy get a hand on this ball?
Personal foul.
Apparently not, according to Ron
Roughing
Winter.
the kicker. Defense number 9. 15-yard and a first down.
Steelers are claiming that Mundy got a hand on this ball, therefore it should not be roughing the punter. From the left side, you'll see Mundy come right up the middle, lay out, and Mundy doesn't come close.
No.
Neither does Stevenson Sylvester, so the Steelers sideline hoping for a call. Don't get it.
Jacksonville does, and they get a first down out of it at the 35-yard line.
Jacksonville 35.
Pittsburgh actually had a fake punt last week, and it was Sepulveda that threw a 33-yard pass to Mundy to get a first down. First and 10 for Jacksonville. Give is to Maurice Jones-Drew. And a stutter step move up the middle. Boy, he's got tremendous vision. Oh, some pushing and shoving now. Greg Jones getting into it with Lamar Woodley. And an official got caught in the scrum.
Yeah, Ron Winter went down. That originally got the fans' attention, and then they saw the fight break out.
Greg Jones, the fullback, and Lamar Woodley, the linebacker.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense number 56. Personal foul, offense number 33. Those penalties offset by rule. The bounce. Second down.
So it was a 7-yard run there for Jacksonville. And then that's when the extracurricular began. Woodley and Jones.
Second down and 3 at the 42.
Yeah, the good thing about that fight is that there were no punches thrown, so there will not probably be any discipline from the league office there.
And no ejection in this game.
Right, even more important.
Steeler fans getting rowdy on a 2nd and 3. Jones-Drew, nowhere to go. James Farrier, he is playing like a much younger man. 36-year-old makes another play. Terrific all-around linebacker.
He had 13 tackles last week against Tennessee, so Farrier really feeling his oats maybe.
How about this one? James Farrier, when he was a freshman at Virginia, played a game against William and Mary, and a wide receiver on that squad was Mike Tomlin. So he has played against his head coach in a football game. 3rd and 2. Maurice Jones-Drew, he's got the first down. Good battle there by Jones-Drew to help break free Troy Polamalu. Tried to make the play, a 6-yard gain. NFL Today update, Brown and Marino in New York.
And it's one word, Ian and Dan. Cam.
Yeah, Cam Newton. He's playing great for the Carolina Panthers, and this is what he does best, too. He just gets outside, runs in for a touchdown, 14-yarder, putting Carolina up 17-14.
6th rushing touchdown of the season, ties him for the league lead with 4 running backs. Ian and Dan.
Well, from one rookie quarterback to another, it's Newton leading in that one. Gabbert is down in this one against Pittsburgh. Play fake. Gabbert. Looking. And off the retreat, he throws it towards the feet of Deji Kareem. It's incomplete. Pressure coming from Ziggy Hood.
You go back to that 3rd down conversion that was picked up by Maurice Jones-Drew. How many tackles did he break? He was stopped in the backfield and just lowered his shoulder.
1 yard, right?
But then on the very next play, Gabbert has nobody to throw the ball to. He's running for his life again. Started the game 4 out of 5 for 32 yards. Since then, just 2 of 12 for 1 yard.
Jones-Drew 14 carries for 69 yards. This is Kareem getting an opportunity. And no gain on the play for the 2nd-year running back out of Southern Illinois. We are down to the 6:15 mark of the 3rd quarter. Pittsburgh 17, Jacksonville 3.
No game. Third down and 10 at the 49.
Steelers have done a good job of shutting down the receivers for the Jags. Thomas has just 3 catches. Hill, Dillard, and Jones-Drew, 1 each.
th play of the drive. Gabbert rifles short of a first down. Able to connect with Mercedes Lewis. And what do you do here at the 44-yard line? That's an 8-yard pickup.
Well, you got to go for it at this point of the game. Your defense hasn't been able to slow down the Steelers. And this would give the Jaguars a tremendous psychological boost if they pick this one up.
Jack Del Rio will go for it on 4th and 2.
Just 1 of 7 going on it from 4th for fourth downs this season.
The marker gives them a first down. It's not. It's fourth down.
An omen, maybe.
We'll find out. Gabbert trying to throw for it. Gabbert in trouble. And now Gabbert will run for the first down to the 40-yard line. Good heads-up play by Blaine Gabbert to pick up 5 yards and keep this drive alive.
Not exactly what he had in mind, and not the way it was drawn up, but gives you an idea of his competitiveness and his athletic ability. Looking for a receiver, sees a hole in the pass rush, and now knows what he needs for the first down, goes for it head first.
13th play of the drive. Maurice Jones-Drew reminding anyone that'll listen that Blaine Gabbert is a kid. He loves video games. He's 22 years old. This is still so new to him after starting 2 years at Missouri. Jones-Drew with the carry for 3.5. Back to New York, NFL Today update. JB and Dan.
Ian, Ahmad Bradshaw having a video game highlight game.
Yeah, here he goes, up and over the top, 1-yard touchdown. He goes in. That's his third touchdown of the day. Giants up 24-17.
Back to Ian and Dan.
You try to figure out this New York Giants team.
Yeah.
Forget it. Week to week, you just don't know what you're going to get with Tom Coughlin's squad this season. 2nd and 7. Jones-Drew, spin move, and remaining on his feet. Good block by Brock Bolin to help spring Jones-Drew for a 6-yard pickup.
Jones-Drew is such a classic tailback from the I formation. He's patient. He's got all the moves. Watch this one. Spinning away from the tackler, then taking on Polamalu, and then falling forward. 16 carries now, 78 yards, right about his average.
Time-consuming drive here for Jacksonville, still looking for its first touchdown of the day. Kareem, running lane for Kareem, and he keeps moving forward for a first down. Another block from Bolin. That's a 14-yard gain. And just outside the 15 now for Jacksonville.
Good job on the left side here. The couple of rookies there, Cameron Bradfield, Will Rackley. Good block there also by the 2 running backs, Brock Bolin there and Greg Jones. Springs Kareem for a big game.
This is the deepest that Jacksonville has been in Pittsburgh territory today. 16th play of the drive. Kareem remains in there. He gets the carry. And Kareem gets hit. Polamalu came firing through initially, and it turns out to be a loss of 2 on the play.
Well, you knew the Steelers were going to dial up something. Here he comes again, sneaking up and then just timing a snap count perfectly and coming right down the line, totally unblocked. Drops Kareem for a loss.
Jacksonville opened the season with a 16-14 win over Tennessee. Since then, losses to the Jets, Carolina, New Orleans, and Cincinnati. 2nd and 12. Gabbert rifles. Caught. Touchdown, Jason Hill. And the Jaguars are right back in it. Chuck Gabbert, Blaine's dad, liking that throw from his son. And they're an extra point away from cutting it to 7.
Yeah, one man standing ovation. Watch Foot come on with the pressure here. Watch Gabbert hang in here and get hit. Throw the ball up high for Hill. Touchdown. What a drive for Chuck's little boy.
Josh Scobie on for the extra point. Gabbert has now thrown a touchdown pass in 4 consecutive games. Just the 6th touchdown of the season for Jacksonville as a team. And it's Jason Hill once again. He had a touchdown last week. He's got another this week. It's a 7-point game.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. DirecTV. Switch now and get a whole home DVR upgrade for free. And by the 2011 GMC Sierra. This truck month, there is no better time to trade up to the best Sierra.
Well, the Jacksonville Jaguars get on the board here in the second half. Great drive. Good combination route. Watch how this route by Thomas influences the safety. That allows Hill to get in behind for the touchdown catch. Very similar to what happened to the Steelers, with the Steelers against the Jaguar defense in the first half. How about the hit that Gabbert knows it's coming from Larry Foote, but he puts the ball on the money and in the end zone for a touchdown.
How about this drive? 17 plays, 80 yards, 9 minutes and 35 seconds, and the 18-yard strike to Hill.
And the key play was roughing the punter that kept the drive alive.
Josh Scobie kicking it off to Antonio Brown. And Brown is going to kneel down, bring it out to the 20-yard line for Pittsburgh. 1:46 left in the third. How do the Steelers answer? All part of the learning process for Blaine Gabbert. Obviously, you'd like to get some wins along the way if you're Gabbert and the Jaguars as well, and they're back in this game trailing by 7. Handoff to Mendenhall, and the acceleration picks up 5 for Pittsburgh. Mincy and Posluszny there defensively. Thursday on CBS, they know when someone's in trouble, but can they find a kidnapped child in time? Catch the new mystery thriller, Person of Interest, Thursday, only CBS.
It'll be interesting to see how the Steelers respond now. Just had a 6-play drive to start the second half and turned it back over to the Jaguars. Went on that amazing drive.
Pittsburgh playing an AFC South team for the 4th consecutive week. Give is to Mendenhall to the outside. He's got a first down. Heath Miller on that right side with a block. It's a 10-yard gain for Mendenhall.
Miller with the first block, and then Hines Ward down the field really gave, here's Miller right here. Check him out working against Roth. And then on the outside, there's Ward working on the defensive back, Middleton. And this gives Mendenhall, you see Mendenhall's eyes get big as he knows he's got the corner.
Out with a hamstring injury last week. He's got 132 yards on the ground and a touchdown here today. Down to 30 seconds to play in this third quarter. The toss to Mendenhall. And a collision there with Posluszny making the play and no gain. That'll be the final play of this third quarter, with Pittsburgh now nursing a 7-point lead over the Jacksonville Jaguars. This Jacksonville team, 4 straight losses, 1-7 in its last 8 games, 9-16 over the last 25 games. We head to the 4th. Steelers 17, Jacksonville 10, the NFL on CBS. Pittsburgh 17, Jacksonville 10. Rejoining you here from Heinz Field, Ian Eagle, Dan Fouts, our producer Bob Monsbaugh, director Suzanne Smith, and the rest of our crew. Technical director Terry Rosich, Pittsburgh native, cameraman Keith Reese, and Neil Geyer in videotape. Got a lot of Pittsburgh natives on our crew here today.
And not one of them invited us over for dinner.
No, they got nothing. Had to eat across the street from the hotel. 2nd and 10. Pump. Roethlisberger. Timing play to Miller. He was out of bounds. They had the right idea, but just could not make the clean connection. Will Middleton in coverage.
Really a heck of an effort, though, by Miller. Goes up over the top of Middleton, but that right foot and left foot out of bounds. Getting up in the air for the 256-pound Miller. Smooth.
Pittsburgh has 360 yards of offense, yet they have a 7-point lead and now face a 3rd and 10 against this Jacksonville squad, showing signs of life in this second half. From the gun, Roethlisberger, incomplete. He tried to hit Miller. Pittsburgh will punt.
Great defensive stand for the Jaguars. 3 and out for the Steelers.
Now the thing about the AFC South, look, Jacksonville's 1-4. They got to just focus on winning games and not worry about what's happening in the division. But it's not like 1-4 in this day and age buries you in the AFC South like it used to because of Indianapolis. Sepulveda shorts the return man. And he worked with the short side of the field on the near side. Cortez Allen making the play. 55-yard punt. Jacksonville with the ball, down 7.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. And by the new action-adventure film The Three Musketeers, in theaters Friday.
Terrible towels are out here in Pittsburgh. Steelers with a 17-10 lead over the Jacksonville Jaguars. Early stages, fourth quarter. Jaguars' worst opening field position of the day. Gabbert, play fake, almost intercepted, and it's caught by Jones.
Ziggy Hood, if he catches this ball, he walks into the end zone. That's 2 times today he's had a shot at an interception. That one went right through his big paws. Here he is right here. He sees the screen coming to Jones. So he's just going to lay in the area there, gets up in the air, but oh, what a disappointment for Ziggy Hood.
And no gain on the play. 2nd and 10. The rookie quarterback dealing with this crowd. Running play. And Maurice Jones-Drew runs into a wall. Larry Foote, first man there for Pittsburgh. Give him a 2.5-yard gain on the play.
Well, you go back to the last drive, the key plays both happened on 4th down. It was a roughing the punter call on Ryan Mundy as he gets in on Harris. And then on a 4th and 2, Blaine Gabbert picks it up with his legs. That sets up the touchdown pass to Jason Hill. But this drive, the Steelers are responding so far.
On 3rd down. Protection is there. Gabbert throws too high. Mike Thomas was the intended target.
A little bit of hesitation by Mike Thomas there. I think Gabbert expected him to keep moving across the middle. Gabbert eyeing the secondary. He picks up Thomas here, and Thomas kind of slows down there, and the ball falls incomplete.
And the 5th 3 and out of the afternoon for this Jacksonville offense. The very busy Nick Harris will punt it to Antonio Brown, standing at his own 33. No rush there from Pittsburgh. Brown with a fair catch, and he hauls it in at the 32 for Pittsburgh. More fourth quarter action when we continue from Heinz Field. Don't forget, coming up after the game, the Subway postgame show, JB and the rest of the crew, latest NFL scores and highlights, all coming up on the Subway postgame show. Steelers take over with a 1st and 10 at the 33. Jonathan Dwyer into the game, and it's Dwyer finding some running room to the 40-yard line. He had 11 carries for 107 yards last week. He dressed in only 1 game last year. 6th-round pick out of Georgia Tech in 2010.
And Tomlin said it wasn't really a surprise. We knew he could run the ball. Not sure that they knew that he'd go for 107 against the Titans, but it's been on special teams that he has not played that well, so he hadn't seen the field all that often. But that was a big gain for his first carry.
2nd and 3 now for Pittsburgh. Dwyer again, and this time he tried to cut it to the perimeter. Driven sideways by Lowry. No gain on the play.
Kind of lost in the second half has been a cold quarterback, Ben Roethlisberger. Started the game 11 of 15, but since that point he's only been able to connect 1 time out of 7 throws.
So now a 3rd and 2 for Pittsburgh. Just under 12 minutes to play.
51.
Steelers number 12 this season in total offense, 373 yards per game. They've got 368 here this afternoon. Empty backfield on a 3rd and 2. Play clock expired. Wow. Sloppy.
Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd.
Boy, that is really an unexcusable mistake by Roethlisberger. See how just important this game is, how competitive the AFC North is. But Roethlisberger had all the time in the world. He was pointing out defenders for his pass protection. Just took his eyes off the play clock.
26.
3rd and 7 for the Steelers. Roethlisberger in some trouble, gets out of it, and Roethlisberger brought down. John Chick was the first man chasing, and then Tyson Alualu able to finish him off. Boy, the Jacksonville defense, what a turnaround from the first half to the second half.
Yeah, 97 is Chick. He's the former Canadian Football League star. And there's the sack for Alualu. His first sack of the season. Couldn't come at a better time. You're so used to Roethlisberger throwing that ball and completing it. Good tenacity by Alualu.
Punt from Sepulveda, and it stays in bounds until it finally makes its way towards the sideline, and a good bounce for Pittsburgh. Out of bounds at the 21. That's where Jacksonville will have it when we come back.
You're watching the NFL on CBS.
Ben Roethlisberger, 12 of 22 for 200 yards and a touchdown. Blaine Gabbert, 9 of 21, 59 yards and a touchdown. But it's Gabbert right now with his team down by 7 with the football. And a 1st and 10 at the Jacksonville 21. Give is to Maurice Jones-Drew. Nice cut by Jones-Drew out across the 25. Greg Jones with a block, 6.5-yard gain. Tonight on CBS, he's been covering Afghanistan for 10 years, but what Scott Pelley reports on 60 Minutes may change the way you see the war. That's tonight, only CBS.
That time the Jags went with an unbalanced line. They flipped Cameron Bradfield over to the strong side and just had Mercedes Lewis on the weak side.
Call it a 2nd and 3 for the Jaguars. And Maurice Jones-Drew had a head of steam initially, but got brought down after the pickup of 2. Ike Taylor among those there defensively for Pittsburgh. Well, for Jacksonville, the numbers have not been good through 5 games this season, and the numbers today have not been good either, but they're in the game. They've been in games. Against Carolina, had opportunities to win. Against Cincinnati last week, but unable to find ways to get the victory.
Guess who?
Polamalu. That's who.
Unbelievable. Nobody else in the league can do what this guy does. Watch him come in and then straight down and take the legs out. Inside of Mike Thomas, the quickness, the toughness, and the timing. Wow.
So the Jaguars 3 and out. Jones-Drew 90 yards on the ground. We still have 9 minutes to play. Nick Harris will punt. Antonio Brown standing at his own 25. And good punt by Harris. Brown retreats to the 23. And Brown spun down short of the 40-yard line by Kyle Bosworth. Troy Polamalu, the NFL Defensive Player of the Year, and making plays all over the field today for the Steelers.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by TD Ameritrade. Verizon, the official wireless service provider of the NFL. And by Immortals on 11-11-11. Experience it in epic 3D.
8:38 to go in the ball game. 7-point game. Troy Polamalu with another big play, but did he get his bell rung on that tackle, taking Maurice Jones-Drew low? Was checked out on the sidelines by the trainers.
Pittsburgh takes over 1st and 10 at the 37-yard line. Handoff to Mendenhall, and no room for Mendenhall to work with. Matt Roth over there defensively. They're still chatting with Troy Polamalu on the sideline. And it looked like his helmet hit the leg or knee of Maurice Jones-Drew.
Yeah, perfect tackling position. Always get your helmet, your shoulders, your head in front of the ball carrier. Then his teammate comes over and headbutts him. Boy, that's nice.
2nd and 10 for the Steelers. I didn't know about that second hit.
No.
Roethlisberger. He still got it. Another one. Throwing sideline, incomplete. Mike Wallace, the intended receiver. Boy, he was like a magician. Now you see it, now you don't.
Yeah, we've been talking about where's Polamalu, where's Roethlisberger. He's going to disappear here for a second. Just a four-man rush by the Jaguars, but out the side door goes Big Ben and almost picks up a completion.
It looked like Ben Roethlisberger was off to a big day statistically. He has cooled off considerably, one of his last 8, and now facing a 3rd and 10. Redmond in the game. 4 receivers. Shotgun for Roethlisberger. Look out! Ball is knocked free! John Chick! And the Steelers recover it.
That's his 2nd sack of the year. John Chick coming around the corner as he did earlier. Just 1 possession ago. Roethlisberger never sees him. He's going to beat the block of Max Starks. Get in there and swat that ball out. Fortunately for Roethlisberger, it's recovered by Trey Essex.
Sepulveda the punt. And not a good one.
Not a good one. It went over the bench, almost went into the stands at the 40-yard line. You're going to have trouble figuring out where this one went out of bounds.
And they are going to spot it at the 48-yard line. Apparently that was a foul ball for Sepulveda. Troy Polamalu just put his helmet on, but he had been sitting on the bench during that break in the action. And he remains along the Pittsburgh sideline. Gabbert throws. He's got his man open, and it's Mercedes Lewis. Lewis brought down just short of the 30-yard line. That's a 21-yard pass play. Longest reception of the season for the tight end Lewis, and Jacksonville is in business with under 7 minutes to go.
Yeah, and it's against the blitz. Gabbert showing a lot of cool on this play. Ryan Clark was coming. Here's Clark coming up, but here's Lewis right here. He's going to run a deep corner route. Gabbert steps into this throw and puts it right on his body.
Ryan Mundy has replaced Polamalu. First down for Jacksonville, trailing by 7, 6.5 to play. Handoff. Jones drew, bouncing off one tackler, then tried to snake his way up the middle and give him a gain of a half a yard on the play. He collided with Brett Kiesel and then looped his way to get back to the line of scrimmage and just pick up a little bit of yardage.
Gain of 1. Second down and 9.
So Mundy in, Polamalu on the sideline for Pittsburgh. And Jacksonville now a 2nd and 9. Down to 5:52 and counting left in this 4th quarter. Maurice Jones-Drew. And that hole closed up pretty quickly, a 5-yard gain for the man they call MJD. Lamar Woodley with the stop.
Again, it was Maurice Jones-Drew breaking a tackle in the backfield. Larry Foote went flying by. Huge 3rd down, obviously, for the Jaguars. If they don't get it, they should go for it on 4th down.
3rd and 4. We come up on 5 minutes remaining in the 4th. Deji Kareem is in the game. He gets the carry, and he's thrown backwards. Lamar Woodley. A loss of 2. Ryan Clark helping out as well. And it's 4th down for Jacksonville. How about that call on 3rd down by the Jaguars?
Well, I don't mind the call. I just mind the personnel. You're taking out your very best player on 3rd down. Now you're setting up a very difficult 4th down. At this point, I think you might just as well go ahead and kick the field goal, get the points. This is going to be difficult for Gabbert, especially with his crowd in full throat.
Pivotal. 4th down for Jacksonville. And a timeout. Play clock was down to 1, and the Jaguars have 2 timeouts remaining. We'll step aside here in the 4th.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the Honda Odyssey, like no van before. And by Subway Restaurants. Get in on the Subway Taste for Adventure Suites today.
Change in game plan during that timeout. Jack Del Rio has elected to go for the field goal, and Josh Scobie, 45-yard attempt. Jacksonville trailing by 7. Scobie is 9 of 9 on the season. From 45 yards away, and he nails it. 17-13 Pittsburgh, 4:17 to play.
4:17 to play and 2 timeouts to play with, and a whole lot of momentum right now. It's funny how one team plays well against another.
Interesting you would bring that up, Dan, because Jacksonville has won 3 in a row here at Heinz Field. October 2005, Rasheed Mathis intercepts Tommy Maddox, returns it for a touchdown in overtime. December of 07, Fred Taylor, 12-yard touchdown run. Late, Jacksonville wins it, and AFC wildcard, January of 2008. Scobie, game-winning 25-yard field goal with 37 seconds left. Pittsburgh holding on to a 17-13 lead. Just over 4 minutes to play. Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers offense clicking in that first half. Opened the day with touchdowns, first 2 possessions, then a field goal, then a missed field goal, and they mishandled the clock late in that second quarter where they could have called a timeout, saved a little bit of time, and maybe gotten some points at the end of the first half. It didn't work out that way.
Yeah, they had 2 timeouts to work with. That's exactly what Jacksonville has. And the Steelers anticipating an onside kick here.
Pittsburgh has its hands team out there, but Scobie will kick it. It'll roll to the end zone, and Pittsburgh will have it at the 20-yard line. NFL Today update. Some action around the league. Let's check in with JB and Dan Marino.
Buffalo refuses to fold.
That's right, and Ryan Fitzpatrick brings his team back. Stevie Johnson, 9-yard touchdown there, 24-24 in the Meadowlands.
Ian let Dan know from earlier we would never tease about him. He is timeless, ageless, and a good one. Back to Ian and Dan.
All right, so
He didn't say spineless, did he?
no. So that was not
I appreciate
anything
that,
to do
JB.
with the uniform. It was just your skill level.
Right.
17-13 Steelers, 4:17 to go in the fourth. Pittsburgh has it with a 1st and 10 at the 20. Roethlisberger give to Mendenhall, and Mendenhall able to push his way to the 24-yard line for a gain of 4.5 on the play.
That's a good start for the Steelers on first down. Get the ball to Mendenhall, keep the ball on the ground, keep the clock rolling. Of course, we got the 2-minute warning coming up. That will give the Jacksonville Jaguars an extra stoppage of the clock.
Bruce Arians right now pulling the strings on this Pittsburgh offense. 2nd and 6, Mendenhall and Johnson in front of him.
Block 80.
2 tight ends with Miller and Saunders. Keep it on the ground. Mendenhall falls forward for a 3-yard gain. Terrence Knighton among those there with Tyson Alualu for Jacksonville.
Well, obviously a huge 3rd down coming up now. The Jaguars have done a good job against the Steelers in the second half, preventing first downs on 3rd down opportunities.
3rd down and 2 at the 28.
The Steelers going with the 2 tight ends, as you mentioned, Ian, and Robinson as a blocking fullback. Now they're going heavy on this side.
And Jacksonville rotating personnel defensively. This is a 3rd and 3. Isaac Redman in the game. Tight formation on 3rd down. Roethlisberger looking. Roethlisberger is going to run for it. First down, Pittsburgh.
I thought you said his foot hurts when he runs. Didn't look like it was hurting that time, did it? Looking to his right side, sees nothing there for his receivers, and again, heads up by Roethlisberger and head first for the first down.
And a timeout called by Jacksonville, but they let time come off the clock. They could have called it right away. That was a good 20 seconds that came off the clock after Jacksonville finally made the decision to take the timeout. Coming up after the game, Subway postgame show. JB and the rest of the crew back in the studio. The latest NFL scores and highlights. It's all coming up on the Subway postgame show.
Hey, you wonder why a team has lost so many games in a row. Clock management, precious seconds off the clock, indecision as to when to call the timeout. Disappointed that his team did not stop Roethlisberger on that third down, but that's no excuse for letting time go off the clock in a 4-point game.
Well, this is a Jacksonville team that has not lost 5 in a row in a season since 2001. They had a 6-game losing streak bridging the 02 and 03 seasons. And they're going to add a few seconds to the game clock now. 2:31 left.
First and 10 to the 31.
17-13. Pittsburgh in front. And a new set of downs for the Steelers to work with a first and 10 at the 31. Mendenhall by himself in the backfield. He gets the carry. And Mendenhall gets stacked up. Darrell Smith. First man there for Jacksonville. It's a gain of 1. And they called their final timeout. 2:20 remaining on the clock.
Gain of 1, second down and 9.
Next Sunday, the NFL on CBS features regional action. Phillip Rivers and the Chargers take on the Jets. The Steelers face the Cardinals, or Kansas City meets the Raiders. It all starts with the NFL Today, presented by Southwest Airlines at noon Eastern here on CBS. If Jacksonville can stop Pittsburgh on these next 2 downs, they would get the football with about 1:10 left on the clock.
And a long field to work with if Sepulveda gets off a good punt.
Second and 9. It's a 4-point disparity. Mendenhall cuts it inside.
Mendenhall.
And leaning in. Got an extra yard on that maneuver. A 4-yard gain overall. And this is going to take us to the 2-minute warning here in Pittsburgh.
Angle 152, Darrell Smith.
Steelers sweating this one out against the Jacksonville Jaguars. We'll come back with the finish after this. During that timeout, 2-minute warning, Troy Polamalu on the cell phone along the Steelers bench. Polamalu making a big play earlier this quarter and then forced to leave the game. Now for Pittsburgh, it's pretty simple. 3rd and 4. Steelers get a first down. The game is over. Jacksonville has no timeouts remaining. Jaguars trying to stay in it. On 3rd down. Roethlisberger is sacked. Matt Roth gets him down low, and Jacksonville is going to get the football back with a chance to win it. Roethlisberger did not want to throw an incomplete ball because that would have stopped the clock.
Great effort by Roth. Knocked down, saw the quarterback, got back to his feet, and bring down Big Ben.
And now the pressure is on Sepulveda, who had a very poor punt on his last attempt. 6 seconds on the play clock. Winding down. 1:16 on the game clock. And Pittsburgh called the timeout.
Now we go back to see what exactly happened to Troy Polamalu. This was a key 3rd down play. He just knifes inside of Mike Thomas and goes low on Maurice Jones-Drew, tackles him head first, and then Ryan Clark comes over to congratulate him on the good play and gives him a little headbutt, something he obviously did not need. Good sign to see the guys on the sidelines laughing a little bit. Polamalu now joins the defensive huddle for Mike Tomlin's Steelers. This is a huge punt by Sepulveda. And Cecil Shorts has got to make a catch on this ball. He cannot let it hit the ground and roll.
Sepulveda, high punt. Shorts does bring it in with a fair catch called for. Right around the 24-yard line. It's a 44-yard punt. And Blaine Gabbert and the Jaguars offense have just over a minute to work with.
There are tough situations for a young quarterback. None tougher than what is facing Blaine Gabbert right now.
They have to go 77 yards for the win.
With no timeouts. No Polamalu, though, for the Steelers. This is Monday taking his place.
On-the-job training for Blaine Gabbert. The rookie is devoured. Brett Kiesel.
Kiesel just overpowered the rookie Cameron Bradfield. 5th sack, first one here in the second half on Gabbert.
And a loss of 10 on the play. 2nd and 20 now for Gabbert and the Jaguars. Rushers coming again. Gabbert, the pump. Gabbert running and veers out of bounds out across the 20-yard line. He picks up 9 yards and stops the clock with 26 seconds remaining.
We go back to the sack by Brett Kiesel. Watch the pressure right here as he's going to split the two rookies. Will Rackley is the guard. He gets around Rackley, and Bradford's too late to help out.
.35 seconds came off the clock, and they are yet to gain a yard. 3rd and 10. Gabbert, dump off. Maurice Jones-Drew, and heading towards the sideline. He's got a first down.
What a heads-up play by Maurice Jones-Drew. He had a chance to get a lot of yards in the middle of the field, but he knows that the clock is more important at this point on the field. Went out, got the first down after an 11-yard gain.
18 seconds left.
But that sack took so much time off the clock. That's a real killer for Gabbert.
Pittsburgh 17, Jacksonville 13. 18 seconds remaining here at Heinz Field. The rookie Gabbert steps, fires. It's complete across midfield to Mike Thomas, but the clock is moving. 9 seconds left.
Now he's got to get up and spike the ball here and gather his team for one Hail Mary.
And he does. 2 seconds remaining.
So now if you're thinking Hail Mary, and that's really their only shot, you got Mercedes Lewis at 6'6". Everybody else is 6 feet or under for the Jaguars. Kasim Osgood, who's out with a bad hamstring, possible at 6'5", but he is out, so this is it for the Jaguars.
They had one last year against Houston. Mike Thomas, the Hail Mary catch.
There's Lewis right in the middle.
Final play. Gabbert will heave it up. And that's it. It ends on an incompletion, and the Pittsburgh Steelers hold on for the win over Jacksonville, 17-13. Steelers get the W.
He just threw the ball too far. Never gave his guys a chance to get down under it. Look at Dillard, 87. This ball's overthrown by 10 yards. Lewis was there in the end zone. Tough play. Blaine Gabbert.
Pittsburgh 17-13. They defeat the Jacksonville Jaguars here at Heinz Field. Coming up, the Subway postgame show. For Dan Fouts and the rest of our CBS crew, this is Ian Eagle saying so long from Pittsburgh. JB and the crew back in the studio when we come back. You've been watching the NFL on CBS.